Dear students, today we are going to study Graham's law of diffusion and the deviation of a gas from ideal gas behavior. So, two concepts are going to be discussed today. First one, Graham's law of diffusion. First, we have to know what is diffusion. So, two words will be used in this law. One is diffusion, another one is effusion. So, diffusion as well as effusion, both are representing the movement of gaseous molecules. Consider a container. Two gaseous molecules are present and both are non-reactive in nature. So both the gaseous molecules will not combine together to form a new substance. So non-reactive gaseous molecules are placed in a container. Usually the gaseous molecule will move from higher concentration region to lower concentration region. The process is called a diffusion. So non-reactive gases will be in a container. The movement of a gas molecule from a higher concentration region into lower concentration region, this movement is called a diffusion. The movement of a gas from higher concentration to lower concentration through another gas, this is called diffusion. Effusion means when a gas molecule is moving through a very small hole in a container, we call the process called effusion. So this is moving of a gas from higher concentration to lower concentration through another gas in a container. This is movement of a gaseous molecule through a very small hole in a container. This is called effusion. So in Graham's law, we may consider diffusion as well as effusion. So rate of diffusion or effusion, both are dealing with the movement of gaseous molecules. We know that in between the gaseous molecules, force of attraction is very weak, so they are moving randomly. So how fast the gaseous molecules are moving? It may be a diffusion process or effusion process. The rate of diffusion or effusion of a gaseous molecule is inversely proportional to square root of molar mass. So if we consider hydrogen, the rate of diffusion or effusion of a hydrogen gas is inversely proportional to the square root of molar mass of hydrogen. This is called Graham's law of diffusion. So rate of diffusion or effusion is inversely proportional to the square root of molar mass of the gaseous molecule. Now we consider two components in the container, two non-reactive gaseous molecules in the container. So the components are A and B. According to Graham's law of diffusion, mathematically we write rate of diffusion of or rate of effusion of component A in the container is inversely proportional to the square root of molar mass of component A. We take it as first equation. Then rate of diffusion of second component B is inversely proportional to the square root of molar mass of component B. We take it as equation number 2. Divide the equation 1 by 2. So equation 1 is divided by 2. We may write rate of diffusion of component A divided by rate of diffusion of component B is equal to square root of molar mass of component B divided by square root of molar mass of component A. So Graham's law of diffusion can be mathematically written like this. This is for same pressure. Both the components are having same pressure. If the process is different for both the components, we rewrite the Graham's law of diffusion expression. Rate of diffusion of component A divided by rate of diffusion of component B is equal to pressure of first component A, pressure of component B, square root of molar mass of component B, molar mass of component A. So this is Graham's law of diffusion or effusion. Based on that, we have a problem. So in a container, two gaseous molecules present. One is unknown gas. We don't know what gas it is. Another one is nitrogen gas. So in container, two gaseous molecules present. One is nitrogen gas, another one is unknown gas. When we compare these two, rate of diffusion of unknown gas and the rate of diffusion of nitrogen gas. So in the question they have given, when we compare the rate of diffusion, rate of unknown gas is 0.5 times higher than the rate of diffusion of nitrogen. So in the question, the given data is rate of unknown gas in the container, rate of diffusion of unknown gas is 0.5 times higher than the rate of diffusion of nitrogen gas. So we just apply the values in the formula. So we have unknown gas, rate of diffusion of unknown gas and the rate of diffusion of nitrogen gas. Molar mass of second component nitrogen, molar mass of unknown gas. The question is, you have to calculate molar mass of unknown gas. And what about this value? This is 0.5. Right. Comparing nitrogen, unknown gas has rate of diffusion 0.5 times higher. So left hand side 0.5. And what is the molar mass of nitrogen? 28. We're just squaring on both sides. So 0.25 is equal to 28 divided by molar mass of unknown gas. So molar mass of unknown gas is equal to 28 divided by 0.25. The answer is so the answer is 112 gram per mole. So with this, Graham's law of diffusion over. Next concept, deviation of a gas from ideal gas behavior. So last class I told that practically we don't have ideal gas. Ideal gas means perfect gas. If any gas obeying PV is equal to nRT equation, we call the gas as ideal gas. Practically we don't have ideal gas. So we have only real gas, right? So the gas which will not obey PV is equal to nRT equation. So we are going to explain why the gases are not obeying ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT. So this is a deviation of gaseous molecules from ideal gas behavior. So this can be explained based on kinetic theory of gases. In your physics, you will study postulates of kinetic theory of gases. According to that, when you take ideal gas equation PV is equal to nRT, this equation for an ideal gas is given two assumptions. You have to remind it. This is very important. According to kinetic theory of gases, a gas can be considered as ideal gas. For that, it has to follow these two. Number one, volume occupied by one gaseous molecule is negligible. So this is the first assumption for an ideal gas. When a gas is behaving ideally means the volume occupied by one gaseous molecule in the container will be negligible when we compare it with the volume of the container. So we take a container, gaseous molecules present, we know the total volume, okay, capital V. Total volume is known, and if you take one particular gaseous molecule, it occupies certain volume, right? So first assumption says volume occupied by one gaseous molecule is negligible when we compare it with the total volume of the container. Okay, so this is first assumption. Second assumption, there should not be attractive force between the gaseous molecules. Already attractive force between the gaseous molecules will be less. In solids, more attraction will be there. Comparing solids, in liquids, attraction between the molecules will be lesser. In gaseous molecule, attraction is very, very less. So that gaseous molecules are randomly moving here and there. So we can say a gas as an ideal gas. For that, it has to follow these two. Number one, volume occupied by one individual gas is negligible when we compare it with the total volume of the container. Second, attraction between the gaseous molecules should not be there. If a gas is following these two, we can say it is an ideal gas. It obeys ideal gas equation. Next. A gas will behave as an ideal gas at low pressure and high temperature. One more question. If you take any gas, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, whatever it may be, if it follows these two, and it will behave as ideal gas, especially at low pressure and high temperature. So all these will be explained later. Now we are going to study compressibility factor. The symbol for compressibility factor is Z. So we consider ideal gas. For the ideal gas, product of pressure and volume will be equal to the product of number of moles, gas constant and temperature. So this is an ideal gas equation. For ideal gas, pressure and volume multiplied, value will be equal to the product of number of moles, gas constant and temperature. So we can write the ratio PV divided by nRT. The ratio can be denoted as compressibility factor Z, and the value will be 1. One more question. For an ideal gas, both sides value is equal. For example, 10 left hand side, right hand side also will be 10. So 10 divided by 10, answer will be 1. So compressibility factor for the ideal gas is written here. So compressibility factor is nothing but the ratio of PV to the nRT. For ideal gas, both the values are same, so we will get 1. Compressibility factor value will be 1, and this value will be 1 at low pressure and high temperature. Now we are going to draw a graph between pressure as well as compressibility factor. We take pressure in the x-axis, unit atmospheric pressure, 100, 200, 300 like that. You take pressure in the x-axis, compressibility factor in the y-axis, 0.5, 1, 1.5, 2 like that. So as we studied already, for ideal gas, the compressibility factor value will be 1. So when we relate these two, pressure of an ideal gas and the compressibility factor of an ideal gas, so when we relate these two, we get a straight line, and this straight line is parallel to the x-axis, isn't it? Because no change in the compressibility factor value. Pressure increases. If this value increase means we will get straight line in this way. But for all ideal gases, compressibility factor value will be 1, even though pressure changes. So we get a straight line parallel to the x-axis. So at very low pressure, compressibility factor value 1, it will be ideal gas. So we can say a gas will behave an ideal gas at very low pressure, then only compressibility factor value will be 1. Next, deviation of a gas from ideal behavior. When we maintain the pressure as a low pressure, what happens in the container? Okay, so we have gaseous molecules in the container. When we maintain low pressure, what will be the situation for the gaseous molecules within the container? So in this case, when pressure is very low, volume will be more. Just listen carefully. When we maintain low pressure, volume will be more. When volume is very more, volume of one molecule is negligible. So the volume of the container is more. In that case, volume of one gaseous molecule is negligible when we compare it with the total volume of the container. Second point, since volume is more, the gaseous molecules will move randomly here and there. Comparing the higher pressure, at low pressure, the gaseous molecules can expand easily and no attractive force. So as I told, a gas will be an ideal gas at low pressure and high temperature. The reason is given here. When we maintain low pressure, volume will be more, so that volume of one individual gaseous molecule will be negligible when we compare it with the total volume of the container. Next, Due to larger volume, gaseous molecules can randomly move here and there. So attraction between the gaseous molecules will be very, very low. So we can neglect it. So these two are the important points for a gas to behave ideally. So why a gas is behaving ideally? At low pressure, volume increases. Important point. When we maintain high pressure, what happens? When the pressure is high, what happens? When more pressure is applied, volume will be reduced. Okay. So in the container, we apply more pressure. So due to high pressure, volume is reduced. Once volume is reduced means total volume is also reduced. So that volume of one individual gaseous molecule is not negligible. So every volume of a gaseous molecule is important in the calculation. So volume is very less, so that volume occupied by one individual gaseous molecule is not negligible with the total volume of the container. Since volume is very less, attractive forces will be there. This will be predominant. Intermolecular attractive force will be predominant. So now the gaseous molecule is deviated from the ideal behavior. We call the gas as real gas. Okay. At low pressure, more volume, no attractive forces. Volume of one gaseous molecule is negligible, ideal gas. At high pressure, volume is very less. Volume occupied by one gaseous molecule will not be neglected and attractive force will be predominant. So the gas is not an ideal gas, it will be a real gas. For the real gas, Z value will not be 1. Isn't it? Compressibility factor will not be 1. So we explained deviation of a gas from ideal behavior based on pressure, based on temperature. We can explain. So when we maintain high temperature, the gaseous molecules will be activated much. So gaseous molecules are getting more and more kinetic energy. So when it receives high kinetic energy, the movement will be more. So collision between the gaseous molecules will be more. Okay. So by maintaining high temperature, kinetic energy of gaseous molecules will be more. So due to more kinetic energy of the gaseous molecules, they will have the tendency of moving here and there, and between the gaseous molecules only collision will be there. Attractive force will not be predominant. Okay. Since they are randomly moving, volume is negligible. Okay. So when we compare with the total volume of the container, volume occupied by one gaseous molecule is negligible. So at a high temperature, the gas will behave as an ideal gas. So that its compressibility factor value will be 1. Due to more kinetic energy of the gaseous molecules, they are colliding with each other and they are colliding the surface of container. No attractive force will be there. This will not be predominant, and volume of one individual gaseous molecule will be negligible and the gas will be ideal gas. Consider low temperature. When the temperature is low, kinetic energy of the gaseous molecule is also low. So in that case, volume occupied by one individual gaseous molecule is not negligible and attractive force will be predominant. In this case, the gas is deviating from the ideal behavior. It is a real gas. Compressibility factor will not be 1. Okay. So you have to remind what is an ideal gas. When a gas obeys PV is equal to nRT formula, the gas is called ideal gas. First point. According to kinetic theory of gases, the gas with no attractive forces, the volume occupied by one individual gaseous molecule is negligible when we compare it with volume of the container at all conditions. It's called the ideal gas. These 2 points you just remind. The gas which obeys PV is equal to nRT equation. At all conditions, a gas with no attractive forces between the molecules and volume occupied by one individual molecule is negligible when we compare it with the total volume of the container. By all these, we can say the gas is an ideal gas. So, to behave as an ideal gas, the temperature should be a higher one and the pressure should be a lower one. And the explanation is given. When temperature is high as well as low, what will be the behavior of a gas? When the pressure is low as well as high, what will be the behavior of a gas? At low pressure, gas will behave as an ideal gas. At a higher pressure, the gas will be a real gas. At a high temperature, the gas will be behaving as an ideal gas. At a low temperature, the gas will be behaving as real gas. So, for an ideal gas, these two values are equal. These two values are equal. So, the ratio is called what? Compressibility factor, PV divided by nRT. For an ideal gas, the ratio is called a compressibility factor and its value will be 1. So, when we draw a graph between these two, we get a straight line parallel to the x-axis. What about real gas? For the real gas, compressibility factor will not be 1. When it reaches compressibility factor 1, and the gas will behave as an ideal gas. Real gas is trying to achieve the compressibility factor 1. When it reaches Z value 1, it will be behaving as an ideal gas. So in page number 170, a graph is given. Okay. So what is the behavior of different gases like methane, hydrogen, nitrogen, helium? The behavior of gases are given here. So now you understood what is the behavior of an ideal gas and a real gas. What are the conditions? What are the assumptions made on real as well as ideal gases? Next, we are going to study what is boil temperature or boil point. When compressibility factor 1, the gas is an ideal gas. If the value is not 1, it is a real gas. Boil temperature or boil point means at one particular temperature, the gas will behave as an ideal gas. Compressibility factor value will be 1 at one particular temperature. The temperature is called what? Boil temperature or boil point. One more question. For any gas, if the temperature is more than the boil point, at boil point it will be an ideal gas, but for any gas, if the temperature is more than this boil point, Z value will be greater than 1. One more question. Okay. For a gas, if the temperature is above the boil point, it will be a real gas. The value will be greater than 1, and this deviation is called a positive deviation. Okay. You take helium or nitrogen. These two are real gases because Z value is not 1. Okay. So at boil point, it will be an ideal gas, but the temperature is more than the boil point. So Z value will be more than 1, like 1.1, 1.2, like that will be there. Okay. For any gas, if the temperature is greater than boil point, Z value will be greater than 1, and the deviation is called a positive deviation. Once it attains Z is equal to 1, it will become an ideal gas. Then for some gases, some real gases, the temperature will be less than boil point. So Z value will be less than 1. So this is called a negative deviation. Okay. You take a gaseous molecule like methane. Okay. For the methane, the temperature will be less than the boil point or boil temperature. So Z value is less than 1. The deviation is negative deviation, but it will not be a permanent one. The value will reach us very less. Z value will reach us a minimum. Then again this will increase with the increase of pressure. So already Z value is less than 1, negative deviation for certain gases like methane, and it reaches a minimum Z value. Again the Z value will increase when pressure increases. So this is the deviation of gases from ideal behavior. Next, compressibility factor for real gas. Compressibility factor for real gas. We know that for an ideal gas, PV is equal to nRT, and the ratio is called what? Compressibility factor for an ideal gas, isn't it? So for real gas means the volume will be made as real. Okay. Now the compressibility factor value will not be 1. So Z is equal to pressure of the real gas, volume of the real gas divided by nRT. So this is the compressibility factor for real gas. Ideal gas, volume of an ideal gas. You just rearrange this one. Volume of an ideal gas is equal to nRT by P. You take this as equation 1. Substitute this value in equation 1. We get Z is equal to volume of real gas divided by volume of ideal gas. So using this, we can calculate the compressibility factor. So this is the compressibility factor for ideal gas, compressibility factor for real gas. By rearranging this, we can get a compressibility factor Z, which is nothing but volume of a real gas divided by volume of an ideal gas. So today we have completed Graham's law of diffusion, then deviation of a gas from ideal behavior, compressibility factor calculation. So in this lesson, this will be somewhat difficult to understand. We'll just 2 or 3 times you just listen the video, okay? And in revision also we will discuss these tough concepts. You just remind, a gas obeys PV is equal to nRT equation, is an ideal gas. It behaves as an ideal gas at low pressure and high temperature. To behave as an ideal gas, it has to follow 2 things. Number 1, attractive forces should be very low, or there should not be attractive forces between the gaseous molecules. Then second one, for behaving as an ideal gas, the volume occupied by one individual gaseous molecule will be negligible when we compare it with the volume of the container. You just remind this. Based on this, you can go through the book. At low pressure and high pressure, what about the variations? At low temperature and high temperature, what about the variation in the behavior of gases? You just go through and you will understand. Compressibility factor is the ratio of PV to the nRT. For ideal gas, value will be 1. For real gases, value will not be 1. Greater than 1 means positive deviation, less than 1 means negative deviation. So ideal gas is at a particular temperature. It's called a boil temperature or boil point. For real gas, temperature may be greater than or less than boil point. So today's class over. Tomorrow we will discuss about corrections, pressure and volume corrections. Thank you.